Every morning, millions of us pour a cup of coffee and accept a quiet, lingering anxiety. We treat it like a guilty pleasure, a vice that we suspect is quietly dehydrating us, spiking our blood pressure, or putting undue strain on our hearts. But an enormous volume of medical data allows us to finally settle the debate. We are going to map out exactly how many cups are actually safe to drink, investigate whether instant or decaf options measure up, determine the real biological cost of adding sugar, and look at how your own DNA dictates your response to the brew. The results of these massive studies suggest that the tension we feel about coffee isn't based on actual physical risk, but on a long-standing misunderstanding of how these chemicals interact with our longevity. To find the truth, we have to look at the UK Biobank cohort. This is one of the most comprehensive health databases ever assembled, giving us a massive baseline to test our dietary habits against actual, real-world outcomes. We are looking at approximately 500,000 participants. Researchers tracked their medical records for a full decade, meticulously adjusting the math to account for confounding lifestyle factors like smoking habits, physical activity, and body mass index. This means we aren't relying on a flimsy, self-reported dietary survey. We have a precise, data-driven blueprint for extracting the maximum life-extending value from a single beverage. The most common fear is volume. We've been told to limit our intake, assuming that drinking cup after cup will eventually push our cardiovascular system past its limits and lead to an early death. This chart plots the hazard ratios for all-cause mortality against cups of coffee consumed per day. The baseline risk for a non-drinker is marked here at 1.0. But as consumption increases from 1 to 3 cups, the line dips sharply. The data shows a significant drop in mortality risk, not just from cardiovascular disease, but from all causes, including cancer. Look at the extreme right edge of the graph. Even for individuals consuming 8 or more cups a day, the hazard ratio sits at 0.86. They still maintain a distinctly lower risk of mortality compared to someone who drinks no coffee at all. The math is clear. There is virtually no upper limit to the mortality benefits of a regular pouring habit. Then there is the issue of the bean itself. Health culture often insists that you only get these physical benefits if you are carefully brewing expensive, freshly ground artisanal roasts. Ground coffee does possess the highest concentration of bioactive compounds, and the data confirms it has the strongest inverse association with mortality. Yet 55% of the coffee drinkers in the UK Biobank were consuming simple instant coffee. And those participants still displayed highly significant mortality protection. The real anomaly in the data, however, is decaffeinated coffee. It shows the exact same consistent inverse association with early mortality as the fully caffeinated versions. Whether you prefer a high-end pour-over, a cheap instant mix, or a completely decaf brew, the specific format of the bean does not erase its ability to protect your health. This creates a biochemical mystery. If decaf extends lifespan just as well, then caffeine, the most potent and famous chemical in the drink, cannot be the primary driver of these health benefits. To solve this, researchers integrated genome-wide data. They assigned participants a genetic caffeine metabolism score based on specific DNA markers, testing to see if naturally fast or slow caffeine processors experience different health outcomes. This visual represents how different bodies process the drink. But regardless of which genetic pathway you follow, whether you are a fast metabolizer or a slow one, there is zero effect modification. Both groups arrive at the exact same, identically positive health outcome. The biological heavy lifting is actually being done by the non-caffeine constituents hidden inside the bean, specifically complex polyphenols and powerful antioxidants. Coffee is a complex, protective plant-based health food. Which brings us to the final, heavily debated variable of the morning routine, sweetening the cup. To isolate the exact impact of sugar, we can look at a separate study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine, which tracked over 170,000 participants for 7 years. Look at the mortality reduction on this bar chart. Participants drinking 2 to 4 cups of unsweetened black coffee saw roughly a 29% reduction in mortality. That those drinking 1.5 to 3.5 cups of moderately sugar-sweetened coffee per day still saw up to a 31% reduction, nearly identical to the black coffee drinkers. While excessive, unchecked sugar consumption is clearly a known hazard, adding a moderate spoonful does not cancel out the profound cellular protection provided by the bean itself. The weight of this data establishes coffee as a foundational component of a healthy diet. The rules are straightforward. First, drink the format you actually prefer. Ground, instant, or decaf all successfully defend your cellular health. Second, do not stress over a moderate add-in. If a teaspoon of sugar is what keeps you drinking it, the net benefit to your lifespan remains overwhelmingly positive. And third, enjoy your refills without fear. The data unequivocally protects your habit from cup 1 all the way up to cup 8. Once you understand the biology, it removes the lingering daily anxiety of somehow doing coffee wrong. So tomorrow morning, when you finally step into the kitchen, you can enjoy the ritual with absolute certainty. Pouring that first cup is a scientifically validated investment in a longer life.